Honorable Men Discord. Trump commutes Larry Hoover's sentence. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's get straight to it. So Larry Hoover, who was the known leader of the Gangster Disciples, was pardoned by President Trump. Was not pardoned by President Trump. President Trump commuted his sentence. So before I even get into the news report, I want to give clarity on the difference between when your sentence is commuted as opposed to you receiving a pardon. So here it says, in law, commute a sentence means to reduce or lessen a punishment for a crime, typically a sentence of imprisonment, to a less severe punishment. It's a form of executive clemency where a governor or president can change a sentence imposed by the court. While a commutation reduces the punishment, it does not erase the criminal conviction, right? So it says how it works. I skipped a few lines. The executive authority can reduce the sentence to a lesser punishment, such as a shorter prison term or probation, or change the type of penalty. The difference from a pardon, commutation reduces the sentence, but it doesn't erase the conviction. A pardon, on the other hand, forgives the crime entirely, as if it never happened, and can remove the conviction from the criminal record. So it was not a pardon because he was accused, or he was sentenced for crimes such as murder. So President Trump is not saying that he's clear of the convictions. It's just a reduction in the punishment. But for some reason, his son and a lot of people are saying, oh, he's free. But unfortunately, he's not free. Unfortunately for the family of Larry Hoover, he is not free. He still has to serve time for charges against the state. All right, so that was federal. So on a federal level, Trump commuted his punishment, but he still has to do time on a state level. But let's let the news report speak on it further, and this is courtesy of WGN News.
President Trump commutes the federal sentence of Larry Hoover, a former Chicago gang leader serving a life sentence.
However, that doesn't mean Hoover will be back on the streets anytime soon. WGN's Jenna Barnes joining us now with more on that. Jenna.
Mike and Ray, Hoover is now 75 years old. He was denied parole in this federal case just last year. Now with his commutation, he's expected to be moved from a supermax prison in Colorado back here to Illinois to serve prison time for a state sentence for murder. The notorious founder of the Gangster Disciples, Larry Hoover, was serving 6 life sentences in federal prison, convicted of running his criminal enterprise from inside an Illinois prison in the 1990s after his 1973 conviction for murder in the state.
There are crimes that are so heinous that they are not entitled to mercy, and his are among those.
Ron Safer was the lead prosecutor in Hoover's federal case.
There's no question that it is the biggest, most well-organized, most efficient drug organization that the country has ever known.
But advocates, including celebrities, have been fighting for Hoover's release. Kanye West and Drake holding a benefit concert for the cause in 2021. Hoover himself was in court just last year fighting for early release, renouncing his past. And Wednesday, President Donald Trump commuted his federal sentence. Hoover's attorneys writing, the courts have demonstrated a complete unwillingness to consider Mr. Hoover's considerable growth and complete rehabilitation.
We've got to learn how to respect one another and keep each other alive. Any voice that comes out with that message that may be able to help somebody, I'm for.
But Hoover's release from federal custody isn't freedom. He must return to Illinois to serve his 200-year sentence for murder, though legal experts say he is eligible for parole. The Department of Corrections website already lists him as an inmate in Dixon, but it's unclear if he's been moved yet.
When you locked up in them institutions and you have your conversation with God, Father God, let me out, I'll never do it again.
Former gang enforcer Wallace Gator Bradley, who has received a pardon, is hoping the governor will intervene and commute the state sentence.
I pray that Governor J.B. Pritzker will do it in here, and I pray that God hear the prayers of everyone that's asking him to do it. And in my heart and soul, I feel he's going to do it.
No official statement from the governor's office on that idea tonight. If Hoover wants to pursue parole or clemency, he would need to petition the Prisoner Review Board. It makes parole decisions and the clemency recommendations to the governor. We're live on the North Side tonight. Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
Hey.
All right. Now I'm just going to go into Larry Hoover Jr., his son, speaking on the whole ordeal and what the future holds.
Larry, explain to them how Trump has freed him from the Fed, but what's going on with the state?
Okay. Trump has freed my father from federal custody. But as I told people plenty times before, it's been a dual jurisdiction. So now the state has the opportunity to go get him. And what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to reach out to Governor Pritzker to let him know that my father would be a blessing to this city. And he could also leave the city if he needs him to leave. But we dealing with Pritzker, and he can go into state custody. And all he has to do is strike his pen and say that we don't need this geriatric old man. He served his time. Like he's not worried about leading any type of gang organization or running the streets. If he does anything for the streets, it would be telling the YNs that you're going to live the life that he lived if you don't change your life. He would be an asset and a blessing to this community. All the people that stuck on some other stuff, like your understanding is just kind of weak. Your understanding of life, your understanding of manhood, your understanding of being a woman. We're not with that. We're all about peace and love. And we need Pritzker to understand that he will be a blessing to this community. And we want him to give this man a second chance. Pritzker believes in redemption and believe that he should be redeemed. Everybody else in this situation has been able to have redemption and have a second chance in life. And I would love to actually be able to hold my father. I'm close, but I'm not all the way there yet. I know it don't sound right, but I want to hug and kiss a man. My kids want to hug and kiss their grandfather. My mother wants to hug and kiss her husband. Like, it's a whole family out here. This is a man in a man's life. This has nothing to do with any nonsense. We need for everybody to let Pritzker know that Larry Hoover will be a blessing to this community, an asset, no type of threats. If anything, it may be even more peaceful.
So there you have it. My thoughts on all of this is Larry Hoover and other big name gang leaders or drug lords or however you want to name, or whoever you want to name. Fortunately for them, they have a name large enough to make it on songs. They have a name large enough to make it to the ear of the president or whoever the president is at the time in the Oval Office. And because of that, he was fortunate enough to even get a commuted sentence by President Trump. But there's a lot of other people who have done similar crimes that don't have as large of a name that may never have an opportunity to be pardoned or have a sentence commuted. And the reason why I'm saying that is whether or not he's fully rehabilitated or not, I don't know. That's not for me to say. Only the prison workers, only the cellmates or the other prisoners would know that. Only the warden would know that. But I can understand why his son is doing what he's doing. I can't say anything bad about the son's effort. But the question is what I just jotted down what the son said. Do many of you feel as though Larry Hoover will be an asset and a blessing to the streets, as far as being freed and being able to be an advocate for nonviolence, telling those members of not just the GDs but of blood gangs, Crip gangs, whatever gangs that are out there that I didn't mention, by having him out freed and speaking against the violence, would he be an asset? Do you feel like he'll be an asset, or do you think he won't be an asset? Do you think it's the norm for prisoners after spending many years in prison to say that they're rehabilitated, but they may not be rehabilitated? I don't know. That's not for me to say. I think it's always going to be a case-by-case situation. Do I believe all prisoners, after serving a lengthy time, are not rehabilitated? I don't believe that. I believe there are some that are rehabilitated, but I do also believe that there's some that aren't rehabilitated. In terms of Larry Hoover, I don't know where he stands in terms of either or. I can't say. I don't know the man. But you know, he still has the challenge of the state. So we'll see what happens with that. He's 75 years old. Yes, he is a senior citizen at this point. But I don't know. You know, if anything, those young individuals that love the streets, they're hugging the block, you need to know that, listen, as I mentioned before, your name may never reach as high as a Larry Hoover, and that shouldn't even be the goal in the first place. So I'm not saying that to say aim to be a Larry Hoover, aim to be a Big Meech. No, that's not what I'm saying. Don't get this episode confused. What I am saying is those crimes you're doing out there in the street, if the law should snatch you up, you're not going to be so lucky to be pardoned or have a sentence commuted by the president, because you're just going to fall in line with everyone else that has committed crimes similar to yours. So just don't do it. How about that? Just don't do it. How about learn from those people that have committed similar crimes that are older than you? Don't assume that you know everything, because you don't. Because the moment you start to feel comfortable in thinking that you know everything is the moment you find yourself with your hands behind your back in the back of a squad car on the way to a jail cell at the local precinct. So just don't do it. I know it's easier said than done, because depending on where you live at, circumstances are rough, and you feel as though you need to either keep up with the Joneses, or you need money in your pockets. But earning an honest living is not a bad thing. The money's slow. Yes, I know the money's slow. I lived it. The money is slow. It is absolutely slow. But sometimes slow money is better than fast money. All right? Slow money is better than fast money, especially if the fast money comes with the possibility of losing your life or being locked up. But that's just something to think about. What's your thoughts on all of this? Do you think Larry Hoover is an asset to the streets, like his son said? Or do you think he should just remain in prison? I'm looking forward to hearing those of you who watch this episode. I'm looking to see your response and your thoughts. But as always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, tell a friend to tell a friend. Honorable Men Discord is here to stay, dropping 5 p.m. daily Eastern Time. Take care.